Hey Kings, it's ya boy, Cheems of Regret. It's been a while since my last commentary response video, and you know what? I've been bashing my head against the wall for the current review I'm working on for a bit too long. I think it's time to unwind and bash my head against the wall for a separate topic, which is this particular video I've been directed to by my best good friend, Brother Near 2.0. Now in this video that we're taking a look at, this person's going to argue that casuals are killing gaming somehow, which is certainly a take. Now, it's important to note that I don't necessarily agree with the take, nor do I disagree with it. Now, I definitely sympathize and understand where that perspective is coming from, but ultimately the matter of this whole subject is far too nuanced and complicated to be boiled down to casual players bad, hardcore gamers good. Well, I guess that's enough for a preamble, let's get right into it.
Well, kiddos, it seems I ruffled feathers speaking the truth once again with my recent video ranting about casuals are ruining the gaming industry, because apparently casuals are the reason video games even exist. Yes, it's an actual argument these people use.
Well, it's an argument people make because it's not wrong. Gaming as we know it today wouldn't exist without the casuals pitching in. It's a self-evident fact. Meanwhile, your assertion that casuals are killing gaming is, wouldn't you know it, an opinion. Now, being able to differentiate the two is actually quite important when you're engaging in online shit-slinging, which honestly, if you can't tell the difference between the two, is there really hope for you?
I'm aware YouTubers have made response videos about this subject, and while you're free to make response videos, you are not free from my wrath.
Not free from your wrath? Au contraire, I'm counting on it.
These videos are so stupid, full of straw mans, misunderstanding points, and overall just trying to add on to what I said to make me look bad in some way.
And you're gonna show us the receipts, right?
Like, there's this one response video by this idiot in acrylics, which is the most hilarious video I've ever seen. I'm not gonna go over it, but I will give you some sticky notes about what he said, and I might show some clips, maybe. I also know this guy named Bakugan. Look, say what you want about my channel, but at least my name is easy to say. AnnaWaifu, bam, rolls off the tongue.
No receipts? So we're just supposed to trust your biased and opinionated word that your opponent is engaging in bad faith arguments while you're not? Okay then.
This is like one of the most baffling, responses I've ever seen to a video that I've ever made. Like, I could understand some hate to the Resident Evil 4 video, but this? Like, guys, why are you taking this video so seriously? It's clearly like an emotional opinion piece, but you guys are treating it like it's an analysis or something.
Not even 1 minute before this point in your video, you mentioned that people were mad that you were speaking the objective truth. Now you're saying it's an emotional opinion piece. I'm already lost. See, this is why you should always provide receipts, because anyone just hopping in on this video isn't going to be able to follow what's even going on because no context is being provided. Not even a link to the original video to verify what's going on, or even just a clip on this current video.
But whatever, let's get into it. So I think the first thing I want to mention is how these so-called not casuals or casuals get angry when I say that casuals care about video games being movies.
Look, woman, I don't know how you work on your videos, alright, but jeez Louise, please clean up how you work. The way you're wording things is messy, like, what the hell is casuals care about games being movies supposed to mean? Like, do they care and want it to be like movies? Do they care and don't want it to be like movies? With the way the sentence is structured and presented, the message is initially unclear and it's not even elaborated upon. Now, it seems to me, from reading the context and whatever, it seems to me that you believe that casuals want all games to be movies, which is a position I don't buy. If casuals overwhelmingly want games to be like movies, then Minecraft, GTA Online, Skyrim, Overwatch, these games would not be among the top-selling games of all time. So forgive me if I don't buy your opinion as fact.
And the argument's just, well, it doesn't matter, they have fun, so why is it better? Basically, the argument is, shut off your brain and enjoy it. If you have to tell me that I have to shut off my brain, or just enjoy something without thinking deeper or any thought at all, then just admit that what you're talking about is going to be trash. If you care about story in a video game, then you care about games being like movies. Then just watch a movie or play games to play them.
Caring about a game's story is not the same as wanting a game to be like a movie. These blanket statements reveal the simplicity and lack of depth in your cognitive ability. See, I care about the stories of Fallout, of Skyrim, of Project Wingman and Ace Combat, but that does not mean I want those games to be turned into movies. Stories contextualize the actions you do in a video game, and it gives the players extra reasons to care about what they're doing besides just getting the high score. Now see, for example, Project Wingman's final mission is a simple boss fight. The boss doesn't really bring anything new gameplay-wise to the table. What gets the player fired up to shoot him down isn't just the fact that he's the final enemy, it's the fact that he nuked his entire country just to make sure you didn't win. That bastard hates you and so you hate him in return, which makes it all the more cathartic when you nail him for good. A good story enhances the feedback you get from gameplay and makes it all the more memorable.
Like, not watch them as movies. I don't understand why the concept is you play a video game and you don't watch them is so hard to grasp for casuals.
To be honest, I don't think casuals even care about this whole video game movie argument. As I said before, I don't believe casuals want all games to be movies. See Steam's top chart as evidence. It's starting to feel like you're making up an elaborate straw man and arguing against it, which puts into question your previous accusations of people strawmanning you. Accusations that you still refuse to provide receipts for.
And what's hilarious is that these people don't even argue against their point. Their whole argument is to shut up and let us enjoy things. Stop criticizing us for enjoying shitty games. Just shut up and enjoy The Last of Us Part 2.
I mean, with how asinine and shallow most of your critiques seem to be, it's no wonder people keep telling you to shut up and just let people enjoy things. Like, look, I'm all for games and movies and whatever. As my friends, I'm very critical of the stuff I watch and play, but it's not up to you what games or movies people enjoy. Enjoyment is a very subjective thing. People enjoy different kinds of games for different kinds of reasons. Now you could give to me, like, the longest, most detailed video essay on why Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout game ever made, and I'd still tell you I prefer Fallout 4 since it has settlement building and better gunplay. That's just how enjoyment is.
Another thing they call me out for is loving Synthetic Man. Like, me enjoying Synthetic Man discredits me or some shit. Like, whatever. Yeah, he calls you guys out multiple times and it's getting you angry.
Okay. I mean, I don't know enough about the guy to pass judgment. Can't exactly comment on that, and since you're refusing to provide any additional context, what is even the point of this tangent?
Casuals ruin gaming because they buy the same shit over and over, and they don't care about when politics are shoved in their faces, and they don't care about the quality of video games.
If quality didn't matter to the wider audience, Forspoken, Saints Row 2022, Mass Effect Andromeda, The Avengers game, Metal Gear Survive, these games should have been massive successes. If casuals were well and truly apathetic to politics, Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Vanguard would not have disappointed EA and Activision with their sales numbers. The new Indiana Jones movie and The Little Mermaid remake wouldn't be bombing at the box office. Anheuser-Busch would not be losing millions of dollars for insulting rural Americans and their politics. The fact of the matter is, the average layman do care for quality, they do care about politics. They're just not as vocal, or rather, they're not as unhinged about it as you are.
If you're a casual gamer and you don't fit into these categories, good for you. You're an exception, but that's not the majority. Hardcore gamers aren't buying movie games, casuals are.
Now, if the numbers are to be believed, casuals are buying Minecraft, Skyrim, GTA Online, Fortnite, and Call of Duty for the multiplayer and social experience.
And if they are buying these games and they're not a hardcore gamer...
You keep saying that word, but what does it even mean to be a hardcore gamer? What specific qualities define someone to be a hardcore gamer? I certainly spend a lot of hours playing games, but I struggle to call myself hardcore. A gaming enthusiast, sure, but I don't get into the nitty-gritty of a game's meta. I don't really bother learning to min-max my stats. I don't aggressively plan out my strats. I don't do all of that. I just play casually for fun. I just happen to play a lot, so what even is hardcore?
The Act Man sold his soul for 10 cents and praises whatever the mainstream is praising.
Huh? What's the point of this tangent? What does the Ackman have to do with casuals?
Jim Sterling does the same thing except he interjects left-wing politics into his videos.
Again, what's the point of this tangent? There's probably a lot of missing context that could have been provided by AnnaWaifu, but she just doesn't, so we're all clueless about it.
Yes, casuals are mostly left-leaning or centrist. When you look at a Game Award show and you see a fat green-haired bitch up in the microphone, you don't think they're casuals or left-leaning?
You know, most casuals just don't care about Game Award shows. Most of my classmates in high school and college played games in one way, shape, or form, mostly casually, and they could not give less of a shit about Game Awards.
I also didn't say all casuals are left-leaning. Casuals just don't care about the product. It's not that hard to understand. Bottom line is that you didn't like what I had to say, and you dislike Ballin because of that. Because instead of wanting to make gaming better, you casuals choose to blame everyone else for gaming going downhill instead of taking responsibility and admitting you're wrong.
Say the casuals do admit that they did wrong. Whatever the heck that's supposed to be. Okay? Now what? What's stopping the companies from continually pushing out drivel? Battlefield 5 had disappointing sales. People hated that game. Instead of fixing things, DICE pushed out Battlefield 2042, which came out in an even worse state and is even further off than what the gaming community asked for. You give too much credit to the average man's ability to influence where the industry goes.
Casual gamer, definition, people who don't play video games as much as other people. It's not that hard to understand.
Play less than other players? Which other players? Do you have any clue how arbitrary and vague these classification parameters are? But by what standard are we comparing the casuals to? How much hours does someone have to play before they're considered hardcore? Or is it a matter of variety and how much games they play? Do you see the problem here? Even academics are still debating what constitutes hardcore and casuals in gaming.
If you're one of those people who were in my comments that were like, oh, I played this and I played that and I'm a casual gamer, no, you're not. If there's people who played thousands of games and you care about what the medium is, then you're not a casual. You're just brainwashed to think gaming is better than it's always been, and it's not.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Gaming isn't better than it's always been because Todd Howard isn't running the entire industry yet. Now that would be peak gaming.
Like, if you say The Last of Us is one of the greatest games ever made, then you're a casual. I'm sorry, I'm just saying that out right now. No one who's a hardcore gamer thinks that The Last of Us, or Forspoken, or God of War Ragnarok, or Uncharted 4 think they're great games because of their gameplay. No, what they offer is just a story. Then fucking watch a movie. Why do you care about a story so much?
You know, to be honest, outside of Twitter weirdos and PlayStation fanboys, who even thinks The Last of Us 2 and Forspoken are some of the best games ever? Seriously, Forspoken bombed so hard, Luminous Productions got rolled back up by Square's bigger team. Meanwhile, The Last of Us 2's sales cratered by the second week once word got around of how awful that game's story is. Like, seriously, a lot of your arguments just don't add up.
And you casuals want super realistic graphics. Why? And there's people saying, well, I don't care about graphics. Like, I'm talking about casuals who do, and that's a lot of them, because they won't go back and they play old games. If you recommend an old game to them, they won't do it. Proof? I've been around gaming for 15 years now, and I'll explain this later in the video.
I'd like to remind you all that when Red Dead 1 got backwards compatibility on the Xbox One, in 2016 sales for that game skyrocketed. Left 4 Dead 2's player count also spiked pretty hard when Back 4 Blood got released. Fallout New Vegas still gets new players every other Steam sale. Also, again, if casuals only ever cared about graphics, then Minecraft, Roblox, CSGO, these games would not be among the most played games of all time.
And for people who say that, oh, they just want movie games because that's how you get immersed in the world. No. Let me give you an example of a game called Borderlands. Yes, I'm gonna bring up Borderlands a lot in videos because that game is so freaking amazing. Borderlands 2 specifically. I get immersed in the world and I don't need cutscene bombarded in my face every fucking second of the game. That's such a stupid argument to make that's actually pretty incredible. You don't need movie, cutscenes or whatever to get immersed in a world. The reason why Borderlands 2 has such an immersive world is because of the characters, because of the world itself, about how it looks, how it plays. There's so much about it that is so good that it gets you immersed. I never felt anything playing The Last of Us Part 2 or Uncharted or, Forspoken. I was never immersed in those worlds because they're so shit. And it was because of the cutscenes that it got me, not immersed.
I'm not disagreeing with these points. You really don't need fancy cinematics and top-of-the-line graphics and all that crap to have a fun and immersive game. On the other hand, I have yet to meet an actual person who isn't yanked out of immersion when a cutscene starts. Again, this feels a whole lot like you're arguing against a straw man, which you made up.
Again, just watch a movie. Yes, there are games out there like The Last Guardian and Borderlands that have great graphics, but that's not why I play them. Because that's another thing, was that I was saying that casuals care about graphics, which they do. And then people are like, well, maybe they just care about graphics because they want the game to look. It's like, why do you care about the game looking good? Why does that matter?
Because it's a nice thing to have. While I agree that gameplay should be prime, having nice graphics that provide proper eye candy is also important. Besides, it strikes me that you're conflating good graphics with photoreal graphics. Good graphics doesn't automatically mean photorealistic graphics. Sometimes good graphics means a well-designed and put-together art style, something that sells the mood of the game you're playing, while simultaneously providing good visual clarity so that your gameplay experience isn't hindered by unclear textures or shoddy models. Minecraft, BattleBit, Deep Rock Galactic, these games have great graphics, not because they're photoreal, but because they're nice to look at and because you can immediately understand pretty much everything the game's going to be just by looking at it.
It should be the gameplay that gets you immersed in the game, not the graphics. Why do you care? Like, I don't get it. If you want a game to look good, fine, but that shouldn't be the only reason why you play the game is because the graphics look amazing or highly realistic. Like, who cares? Watch a movie or an anime if you care about story and graphics. My god, why do you care?
Why do you care that people want their games to look nice or that they just want to casually play games? Jeez Louise, the hypocrisy is unreal. It is so frustrating that it's genuinely hard to put into words. My brain really shut down trying to process her arguments up to this point because it's just stupid. You are literally arguing that people who want better graphics should just shut up and let me enjoy things. Even though earlier you said they're not allowed to use that same argument. Woman, just you're exhibit number 1 on why the 19th Amendment should be repealed.
And for the people who tell me to shut up and just let these people enjoy stuff, you guys would be more entertained staring at a fucking wall. These people don't have arguments. These people like Brother Near or Krillix who call me a bitch and a retard, or a right-wing crazy psychopath that thinks there's politics and everything, and think that their arguments, are valid. The problem with these videos is that they never get criticism. They either just say strawmans or exaggerate what I say to make me sound worse than I am.
Oh no. Nobody has to exaggerate to make you look silly. You're doing that all just fine. Also, are you sure that it's everyone else that's hurling out names? Have you listened to what you've been saying for these past 5 minutes or so? All you've done is provide anecdotes, biased opinions, and hurl insults and dismiss reasonable arguments because they didn't align with your worldview. Like, listen, woman, okay? I don't know if you script your videos or if this is just all a stream of consciousness type thing, but please, for your own benefit, pay attention to what you're saying.
Yes, casuals do care about graphics, Krillix, because they won't go back and play old games. It's obvious that modern gaming has gone to shit, that you won't admit it because, again, it would require you to actually take responsibility and realize yours the problem, and I'm not the schizo for thinking there's politics in video games. There's always politics in video games.
Okay, so what's the solution? Do you have one, or is the only thing that you have empty platitudes and cheap slogans, just like the crazy leftist ideologues you claim to hate so much? I hate to make a Marvel movie reference, but telling casuals they need to take responsibility is about as hollow and stupid as Falcon telling the senator guy he needs to do better. Like, what is that supposed to mean? What is doing better? Can you define it specifically? Exactly? Precisely? I suspect not, otherwise you'd have gone in depth with it. Why now?
Nobody buying the products. The problem is, certain shadowy groups of people have amassed so much money that they can fund games that sell 0 copies. Things like the Epic Game Store, paying developers millions of dollars to have exclusivity, and then the game bombs on their storefront because nobody likes it. And of course, I have to mention it again, BlackRock and ESG. Companies literally have a social credit score that if they insert propaganda into their products, they get money. This is a fact, people. This is not something I made up. There's a reason so many channels have talked about it now. It's basically common knowledge for anybody who's not living with their head buried in the sand, but these are Twitter degenerates we're talking about here.
Providing this clip doesn't help your case the way you think it does. Telling us that big megacorps can indefinitely fund gaming companies to create drivel, even if nobody's buying it, basically says that casuals taking responsibility and realizing they're the problem won't actually solve anything because the companies don't need the casuals to make money. This is why I say her videos can't possibly be scripted, because she'd see how self-defeating this clip would be.
I also don't think I want to take advice from someone like Brother Near, who constantly was proven to drag people into drama they didn't need to be, and is overall a fucking slimy person. And also uses that funny Ahiko face as an avatar in his podcast, and is an idiot when it comes to arena shooters.
Resorting to ad hominems, are we? You know they've got nothing when they've fallen back to insulting the opponent without actually engaging with their arguments.
These people are in a hive mind. They repeat the same stuff over and over because they're mad that someone with 500 subs had different opinion from them. Casuals didn't like what I had to say, just dislike bomb without even wanting a conversation. So well, let's move on to the people who responded to me. Vincent Martin, Krillix, and Brother Near. These people are so stupid, it's actually incredible. Their videos just repeat the same shit over and over.
How many times have you looped back around to arguing about graphics and yelling about casuals needing to take responsibility? Talk about pot calling the kettle black, jeez.
Oh, you're getting too emotional, you're a retard, you actually know what gaming is like. Casual started the industry. Okay, come on, the last one is dumb. No, people. People who ran the gaming industry cared about video games, not casuals. Casuals weren't even a thing back then.
Nintendo made sure to include Tetris was a launch title on the original Game Boy because they knew how much mass market appeal such a simple puzzle game would have. Nintendo was literally banking on casuals to sell more Game Boys and to fund their company. Now for this next segment, AnnaWaifu is going to start responding to some other people who responded to her first. However, she's once again refusing to provide clips or receipts of whatever arguments the other guys provide. I'm gonna skip these because I've got no stakes in it.
And yeah, I'm gonna get emotional. My favorite medium went down to the shitter. The worst part I heard was when Vincent said, you shouldn't hate the player or hate game. What do you think buys these games to get them made? Vincent Martin, I'm gonna focus on you because ironically I hate your video the most. You focus on a YouTuber who shouted me for 5 seconds and then your entire video was just you misunderstanding my points. First of all, you don't care about video games. I can tell you don't care about video games. Tell me to calm down. People keep buying the same shit over and over when they know it's going to be bad. Like, fuck you. I am gonna get emotional. The reason I use Manga Common's video for that example of nostalgia eaters is that proves that dumbasses like Manga Common will make a 20-minute video calling the game bad, and in the same video he's gonna buy it anyway. You don't think that's a problem? See, this is something that Vince and the others won't understand, is I care about video games. To everyone who watched the original video, I care about video games. To y'all, video games is a pastime. To you, it's just a hobby. You know, you don't care about it. You guys won't understand how great we had it in the early 2000s. You don't actually care about video games, because if you did, you would know how great it was back then. Yes, in the early 2000s, we did get bullied for playing video games. Think about all the movies or television shows where they made gamers look like these nerds who live in their parents' basements and don't care about themselves. Where do you think the nerd stereotype came from?
We were getting bullied? No. We certainly weren't. Maybe gamers in the 80s or 90s did, but Zoomers aren't getting bullied over gaming. Hardly anybody in the past 15 years of gaming is getting bullied because of gaming. Maybe people were bullied for playing certain types of games, but bullying because of gaming specifically? Maybe in fringe cases, but it's definitely not the norm.
I'm just gonna say it right here and now. To all you who respond to my video, you're a fucking idiot. You guys can keep your heads buried in the dirt thinking that I'm wrong, even though you can see the downfall of gaming right in front of your eyes, and you refuse to accept the truth.
Earlier on, you said that all Mir and the others did was call you names, and now that's the only thing you're doing. I mean, lady, please, look in the mirror.
Yes, The Last of Us Part 2 and Forspoken failed because they focused on the political messages more than the game itself. But no, there's no politics in gaming, even though Synthetic Man literally gave proof that they put political stuff in video games for profits. I also never said all casuals. If you're a casual gamer but you don't care about graphics and you like playing good games, good for you, you're not a classic casual. Congratulations, but you're not the majority. My proof this is that I've been around gaming culture for almost 15 years now. I've been playing video games since I was 6 years old, and since then, I've been into gaming for 15 years. I think I know a thing or two about how gaming works.
Well, since we're using how long we've been playing games to back up our arguments, I've been playing for 18 years by this point. Since I have seniority, that obviously means my experience overrules yours, right?
I also hate how Krillix and Brother Nier have this smugness in their voice. Like, they just sound so smug, like they know everything. Well, calling me retarded and a bitch is not an argument. You can actually tell I won the argument when they stooped to name-calling. I doubt they even watched the entire video till they responded to it.
Oh, lady, I am seriously starting to think you've got brain damage because you say all your opponents do is call you names, which honestly, if all Nier has done is call you a bitch and a retard, then I'm so disappointed in him. His insults are usually more creative. Anyways, you say everyone opposing you, all they do is call you names, and a significant portion of your argument is just name calling. Again, lady, look in the mirror, please.
I'm not going to go over comments because it's pointless and there's too many retards to respond to, so I guess this is where I do my conclusion statement. Look, I understand that people had issues with a video, and I'm not saying for instance that it's perfect, but it was clearly an emotional piece. Yes, these are my opinions and my experiences. Like, the problem is you guys are taking the video too seriously. Like, this wasn't an analysis about the gaming industry. Whatever. They're gonna hate this video and take it out of context anyway. I'm done. I'm just done. I hate idiots, but I despise retards. Yes, there's a difference.
There we go again with the name calling. Again, you say this is an opinion piece, and yet you boldly started this video claiming you speak the objective truth. It's honestly hard for me to tell if this is you purposely changing your position for the convenience of the argument, or if it's because your video is an unscripted stream of consciousness type rant and you just don't keep track of what you say. Neither speaks well for your ability to argue your points, regardless whether or not you've got a good or bad or right or wrong opinion. Honestly, like, just look into that, you know? The biggest problem with your video is that you don't know how to properly argue your points. If you did just that, then, maybe people would engage with your arguments more. Well, anyways, that's about it for AnnaWaifu's video. Having hobbies and interests in the year of our Lord 2023 is honestly really funny. Because you've got these types of self-important assholes who impose their opinions on everybody in the community, and this isn't a right-wing or a left-wing problem or whatever. There genuinely are some people who sniff their own farts so much they think they shit out gold. I've seen it in the gaming community, I've seen it in the anime, comics, films community too. Hell, it somehow made it through the frickin' Gundam model kits giving. These types of terminally online narcissists are everywhere. Anyways, that's about it for this video. I should have another video coming in like a week or two after this video gets uploaded. I've been bashing my head against that one for a while, so I decided to go back to my commentary roots to unwind. Depending on how things goes with this one, I might make more commentary videos in the future so that my channel is not just totally dead for months at a time while I work through reviews. As always, again, like the video, also hit that subscribe button if you like what I'm doing. You know the drill. This has been Cheems of Regret, wishing you all good luck and Godspeed. Signing out.